Welcome friends, Matthew here again. We are at the Nations Cup, round 40, last one of the season, Lago Maggiore in the X2019 Competition. And this is exactly what not to do from a standing start. So, I get a good start. I qualified 6th, as you can see. I was pretty happy with that. Steering up the front, I don't know what I was looking at, but I wasn't looking at my braking point, and I completely nailed the back of Adam. Bass bumps me a little wide and gives himself a penalty. That was probably totally by accident, so not a big deal. And then coming through this corner, I get pushed off from the rear. I cannot remember who did that. I think it's MG Hook, who will go past in a second. Or it was a Wild Panther, one of those two. So after picking up a penalty for hitting Adam off, I served my 5 seconds. And I am plumb last. So after a rather embarrassing start, we've got it all to work for. So 1 driver off, 2 drivers off. These cars are very difficult to control. 3 drivers off, as you can see. And then these two have a fight. So I just pick my position, a little bit patient through here, see a gap and go for it between those two. So I picked up 5 or 6 positions almost immediately from the penalty, but completely my fault off the start. I don't know what I was looking at. Obviously wasn't looking at the braking point because I completely missed it and nailed Adam, which I apologise for straight after the race. And well, this was the first race of the night, so he said it was okay because it wasn't the top 16 superstars. My top 16 race actually went about as far as the first corner as well, but then had a lot less action, so I've decided to pull this one up because it's a bit more interesting to run. This was quite an interesting combo. I like that Polyphony got this combo right, or combo quite interesting with the tyre wear, where it was beneficial to do a 1 stop, and you could choose to stop on lap 3, 4, 5 or 6. Really, any of those laps was quite quick. And so you'd have different drivers at different speeds throughout the race, and it made for some more interesting battles. The thing I did not like about these cars was the amount of aero wake they left. So it was very difficult to follow a car, and when you got within 1.2 or 1 second of the car ahead, then you felt the effects pretty harshly, and you'd have to brake a lot earlier, and you'd understeer through the corners. It was quite difficult, so it became quite difficult to follow other cars and actually make moves on drivers that were about the same sort of speed as you over a single lap. So while I do applaud them for, I guess, mixing it up a bit with the more interesting tyre wear, because this last 10 races, the last stage of the Nations Cup, it's been a bit flat in terms of strategy. They've all been flat out races, so it was quite cool to have kind of this thrown at us, where you can mix it up and you could apply different strategies and have some interesting battles. The aero wake just makes it really tough to race, But as you can see, coming up to the end of lap 2, I'm catching Mint GDR in 11th, who picked up a penalty early on. I'm not sure what his incident was, but he picked up a 3 second and fell back through the field as well, and Bass just up ahead of him. So into lap 3, as you can see, and I'm on board with Mint just because during the race I flew past him and I had no idea why he was so slow in a straight line, but turns out, as you can see, his brake is halfway on, all the way down the straight, not halfway on, a little bit on, so it was curbing his ultimate straight line speed. Turns out he had a bad spring in his brakes that have failed obviously during this race, and in fact he tried changing them between races and just missed out on the next top 16 superstars for the Nations Cup. So a bit of a shame he missed out on that one because of a dodgy spring, and what a pain of a night for it to happen. But there was another place gained by me, so moving on through 11th and chasing down 10th. So the next move on lap 4 was against MG Hook, holding 10th position. I caught him pretty rapidly through the first sector, and I just picked up a better drive out of the hairpin just here, go around the outside of him, which will be the inside for the next corner, and you just prevent the driver from turning in, being able to turn in and take the usual racing line, so it compromises their speed and then their exit quite severely. So that was a fairly easy overtake. Didn't fight that one too hard, but I was happy to pick up another place and then start hunting down the 9th. Lap 5 back behind MG Hook once again. I'd just done a pit stop, so I fell back behind. It was only 4 seconds or so for a stop, but he was on older tyres now, so I counted him very rapidly through this lap. Just take to the inside line, prevent him from turning in, cut over that as much as I can, and then once again holding the inside line for this corner. He's on older tyres, he's not going to be able to hold his speed around the outside, and being on the inside prevents him from turning in and taking a normal racing line. So once again, he didn't fight that one too hard, but now he's on much older tyres after I've just pitted. Heading into the final lap now, I'd almost caught Sodog, but once again I'd gotten into the sort of aero wake effect of the cars ahead, and it became very difficult to push forward and actually catch up to him. And now Adam, who had actually pitted 2 laps after me, or 3 laps nearly after me, was catching me very quickly on much fresher tyres, and Sodog had a lap newer tyres than I did. So it was always going to be hard to try to, well, get him, but now I had to really concentrate to hold on to 6th position. I know I was a little bit slow through here. I move over to the left just to encourage Adam to go down the outside lane. He doesn't take the bait necessarily, just falls back in line because it's not going to be beneficial to him to actually go side by side through there. So he falls back behind to get a better run on me down here. Moves to the right hand side, but we've got dead even straight line speed. So once again he falls behind me to try to get a better run out of the hairpin. I'm braking as late as I dare and pushing as much as I can to try to stay in 6th position. He has a look around the outside. I've got the shorter line through here, so I'm able to get ahead of him and claim that line through the right hander. And then I go defensive into here, but he's got much fresher tyres. I understeer wide. He sees it happening. He puts his nose up the right hand side of me, up the inside, and prevents me from turning in this time. And I just have to let the place go. So Adam ends up coming home 6th. Couldn't catch Sodog in the end, so he claims 5th. I've got to give credit to Ranger Oz, who finished 3rd overall, which is a great race from him, and I came home in 7th. So that was the race. As you can see, a messy start in the back, followed by my accident, or just complete misjudgment into the first corner and taking Adam out, then being pushed wide by Bass, and penalties kind of galore on cars everywhere. Sodog spinning out in the foreground, as you can see. The cars are difficult enough to control, let alone with a very sharp left-right first 2 corners, and a grid start where everybody's sort of inches apart, heading into a very tight first left-hander, which is blind when you're in the middle of the pack, so it can be pretty difficult to pick your position. But not trying to make an excuse, I made the error going into that corner. I fell back to 18th, and then it was a bit of a fun run back through the field to see how far I could get. Sometimes the best laid plans don't go the way you want them to. Sometimes you fall off the track and you cause an accident or give somebody a penalty. You just got to put that to one side, apologise to that driver after the race, and put your head down and get back to it. So that's what I tried doing. I tried getting as far up the field as I could. I was looking at 6th at one stage. I was hoping to pick up a 5th from Sodog at the end. Wasn't to be, but I had a lot of fun doing it. The cars are tricky. There's a lot of torque going through the rear of the rear tyres. The rear of the rear tyres. The rear tyres. So you've got to be sort of full concentration on these things. They're not a rocket ship glued to the ground by aero. There's a certain knack to drive them, which can be a lot of fun, but can be very painful very quickly if you're just off by a millimetre or two, it seems in some cases. But anyway, I hope you did enjoy that, even with my big error. I guess it's good to see sometimes. Everybody makes mistakes, and I guess I don't often show my own mistakes on this. I generally avoid those races and just show you the really nice ones, but a bit of an error, and I thought this was a more interesting race to show. So I hope you did enjoy what you see. If you did like it and want to see more of it, hit the like and subscribe button below. If you want to see these races live and see the heartache and the tears in real time, come follow me on Twitch. The link is in the description below. But until next time, thank you for watching, and bye-bye.